And that is it. Full time. Manchester City win the FA Cup, beating their rivals Manchester United. But before we get into it, please do smash the like button and do subscribe. This is my match reaction and analysis. The game has literally just finished. And one interesting game, a lot of talking points to go through. To start off with, I'm just going to say instantly, the biggest talking point for me in that game was that penalty. The Jack Grealish penalty, which allowed Manchester United to get back into this game. Personally, I'm just going to say it straight away. I do not think it's a penalty. I do not understand how it was given as a penalty. And my worry is with decisions like this is, how is everyone saying that's harsh, that's ridiculous, but VAR isn't? Like, I don't understand it. Literally, as you land, your arms come down like that. So I do not understand how that was given as a penalty, just to start off with. But in the grand scheme of things, it didn't really affect the game that much because Manchester City did win. Man United didn't really affect the game, didn't really. I understood the idea of the game. They kind of sat back in deep and tried to counter. We know Manchester United are one of the best counter-attacking sides in the Premier League and have been all season. So they kind of went for that game plan. But I don't think they had the players to do so. Like, I looked at it. Sancho isn't a player I think of when you're counter-attacking. You need a bit of pace, a player that's going to drive at players. And we've seen with Sancho this season that he's not done that. I thought he was non-existent in this game, same as Eriksen. The two of those players, I don't even remember touching the ball, to be honest, to start off with. But Manchester City, what a performance. Every single one of those players are absolutely integral to that game. And Gundogan, wow, what a goal. That first goal, instantly amazing. I initially thought Lindelof had done poor with it, but actually it's because it came off De Bruyne as well. The two of them contested it, so it's not really Lindelof's fault. An absolute screamer. It set up perfectly for him, but those kind of situations, you see so many of them get skied into Rosette. A beautiful technique and an absolute screamer, but I personally think De Gea should have done better with it. I don't know about you. He's clear-sighted. There's no one in the way. And it's not even in the top corner. I personally don't understand it. And I know a lot of goalkeepers keep telling me that if they don't dive, it usually means they've got their angles covered and they know they can't get to it. But personally, I think he should have got to that straight away. I thought he seems really flat-footed with both goals, but we'll get onto the second goal in a minute. But personally, I think he should have done better with that. And then obviously the penalty, as I've just discussed, I don't think it was a penalty at all. I don't know how it was given. Bar that, Man United didn't create anything. I understood, as I just said, about the counter-attacking style, but they didn't really implement it. A couple of times, they never put Rashford through. They never tried that cutting-edge pass. And I think that's the difference between a lot of these sides when they go against Man United. When you go against Man City, you only have a couple of big chances, a couple of big moments, and every time they did, they didn't play that killer pass. You liked Eriksen. There was a couple of times where Rashford had kind of drifted into a little bit of space. If they just tried that killer pass that not many players can do, but you likes of Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes have got it in their locker, but they didn't try it. They went for the safe option and played out to Luke Shaw at left back, or they went back to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, or they turned and went back. With Manchester City, with the way they play and they're so high up the pitch, if you get one chance to put through a striker or put through a winger, you've got to do it instantly. Hit them on the break, because we've seen Man City can be susceptible and vulnerable when they all go forward, especially on the break. So I don't get that. Personally, I just didn't understand that mindset. It seemed very, very... They just seemed very, not lazy is the word, but it was just like they were nervous. Every single decision just seemed really like it was just calculated. It's like, keep the ball. We've got to keep the ball. I understand that against Man City, when you get a chance to get the ball, you've got to keep it. But sometimes hit them on the break, try that killer pass. You can try it 10 times, and if it comes off once, it's going to be massive. You can be one-on-one against Ortega. I feel like Ortega wasn't even tested at all. Had a brilliant game. Like, can you really remember him ever really being tested? Bar the goal line scramble right at the end when it came off the bar. Other than that, I can't think of anything. And then now we'll get onto the second goal, the other goal. To start off with, how is it two players on the edge of the box unmarked? Especially after we've just seen that volley from Gundogan in the first half. But it's a really odd goal, and I've put it in the podcast group chat, and everyone disagrees with me, but I personally think De Gea should do better with that. I get it's gone through 4 men, but I feel like we're constantly giving De Gea excuses. Like, every single goal, oh, it's distance, it's in the top corner, oh, there's players in the way. It's the keeper's job. Like, there's always going to be players in the way, so I personally think he should have done better. If a keeper gets a hand to it, then you should be disappointed. And you saw the likes of Casemiro and other players turn around and just look disappointed. Like, you could see it on a lot of the players' faces, because, to be honest, I think Man United, with the game plan, I get what I was saying about on the break, but defensively I thought they looked quite good, because I don't think like Man City they really created that many chances. Players like Haaland didn't really have many sniffs at goal. I think overall the game plan worked defensively for Man United, but offensively wise, I don't think it really worked. But really, when you try and think about the chances they had, they didn't really have too many clear-cut chances. Like your likes of De Bruyne and players like that didn't really do too much to affect the game. So I think overall it was an odd game, but I think Man United were lucky to get back into it with that decision, because I just think it's absolutely ridiculous, personally. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. My man of the match, either John Stones or Gundogan, as I said. I think John Stones and Rodri, They dictated that game, and they literally just decided everything that went on in that game. Everything went through them too. Rodri sitting in deep, and then Stones higher up the pitch. It was just great to watch, and the treble is on now. The treble is really on, and I rated the fact that Haaland, straight away in his interview after, as I literally just turned off the TV, he was instantly talking about next week. And that just shows you the mindset of this team. They are true winners, and they are out to get that treble. And to be honest, if they play anything like that, you'd expect them... Sorry, if you play anything like that, it's going to be a tricky one. But if you play like they've played all season, then you'd expect the treble to be won. And it's going to be a very good game next week. But overall, an interesting game. Not the most exciting game, a couple of few moments, but bar that, really was quite a dull game. It didn't have that fight that you're expecting from rivals in a final. And I get sometimes in finals, like, teams are quite nervous, quite apprehensive to kind of really try and put their foot into the game, really throw themselves into challenges. But didn't really seem like a derby game, did it? Let's be honest, or even just a final. Like, it was at walking pace. I think it was killed by that first goal. Personally, I think that really set the tone for the rest of the game. Like, you concede that early on, as we said, it was the fastest ever FA Cup goal. I think the last one was Louis Saha, I think, against Chelsea. I think, don't quote me on that, I think it is. I remember it's an absolute great goal, but it's a brilliant goal. And I think it just set the tone then, because it was just then United, then the pressure was back onto them instantly. Like, they had to go out then and go for it. That was the problem. Sorry, my charge nearly went then. But no, overall, not the most exciting of games. But Man City, as I've said, have won the FA Cup. But let me know down in the comment section below, John Stones Gundogan masterclass. But thank you for watching. Bucket Sam over and out. Thank you. Goodbye.